Hello, second graders. This is Miss Newman here, and I'm going to be reading from your textbook, No Adam. I'm going to be reading the unit Living Earth, your student reader. This is Unit 4, Living Earth. Section 1, Habitats on Earth is what I will be reading today. 19 pages. Habitats on Earth. Scientist Jane Goodall is our heading and our subheading. Jane Goodall is a scientist. She lived in Africa for many years. She studied a kind of animal called a chimpanzee, chimp for short. Here we have our photograph and a caption. This is a chimpanzee. Jane observed the chimps. She took notes on what they ate and when they slept. She also took notes on how they behaved with each other. Our heading, Studying Habitats. Jane studied the chimps in their natural habitat. A habitat is a place where life grows. It provides plants and animals with water, food, and air and shelter. Here's our photograph and our caption. These chimps are in their natural habitat. There are many different kinds of habitats on Earth. Forests, lakes, oceans, deserts, gardens, and rivers are all habitats. And habitats is our bolded vocabulary word, so we have to pay close attention to that word. It will be important that we know it. Each habitat has different kinds of living and non-living things in it. A living thing breathes, grows, and moves. It reproduces. It needs energy, food, and water. Food is important because it helps living things grow. As they grow, living things get bigger and more complex. Food gives living things energy. This energy allows living things to move. Some living things move in ways we can't see. It happens in their bodies. Animals can also move from place to place. On the left-hand side of this page, we have living things and the criteria, list of components that makes a living thing. We have our non-living things, which says don't meet the living thing's needs. They don't need to grow, reproduce, or move on their own like the living things do. In the left-hand corner, we have a very cute picture of a dog, and the caption is, "This dog is an animal. It moves from place to place." Our next header, plants and animals. Plants are living things. They make their own food from sunlight. Trees, flowers, and grass are all plants. Animals are also living things. They need to eat other living things for food. Dogs, cats, insects, birds, and fish are all animals. Chimps are animals. Jane observed that chimps eat fruit, vegetables, insects, eggs, nuts, and small animals. So Jane Goodall is the scientist we're looking at, and she observed what chimps eat. Here's a picture and a caption, "All animals eat food," including humans. Jane also observed the chimps having babies and raising young. Reproduction is something that all living things do. This means they produce young. Humans and chimps have babies. Birds and fish lay eggs. Many plants produce seeds that will grow into new plants. Here's two photographs, and the caption is, "All living things reproduce. They produce young." Jane also saw the non-living parts of the chimp's habitat. Non-living things don't meet all of the needs for life. They have never met those needs. Water is non-living. Sunlight and air are also non-living. They are part of almost every habitat on Earth. Here's a photograph and our caption. Water, air, and sunlight are all non-living parts of a habitat. Plants and animals are living parts. Plants need sunlight to make food, and sunlight warms all of Earth. Every living thing has a certain temperature it can survive in. Water is also important for living things. Water helps our body do many important things. Air is important because all living things need air to breathe. Chimps and other animals breathe in oxygen. They breathe out carbon dioxide. Plants take in carbon dioxide. They release oxygen. Here's our header, rainforest habitat. The chimps that Jane studied live in a forest in Africa. A forest is an area filled with trees. Here's a photograph, and the caption says, "A rainforest." The chimps live in a kind of forest called a rainforest. Rainforests are wet and warm. Rain falls almost every day. Because of all the rain, many plants grow in rainforests. The plants have leaves, fruits, and nuts that animals eat. Trees also give animals shelter. Can you think of anything that humans use for shelter? Perhaps our houses? Here's another header, biodiversity. So this is a chapter in our unit 4. Habitats are found all over Earth. Each habitat has different kinds of plants and animals in it. Some habitats have more plants and animals than other habitats. Biodiversity is the different kinds of living things in the world or in a particular habitat. Biodiversity is another word. It's a bold word. So that means we pay close attention to it. We know this is an important word, biodiversity. If you take a look at this lovely picture with a turtle and 2 fish, you'll see the caption says, there are many different kinds of living things in this habitat. It has high biodiversity. More plants and animals live in the ocean than anywhere else. This makes oceans very diverse. They have a high biodiversity. There's our bold word again. Oceans have many kinds of fish and other plant and animal life, according to this picture. Fish, whales, and sharks all live in the ocean. Things that live in the ocean need salt water. They cannot live anywhere else on Earth. Some kinds of fish don't live in the ocean. They cannot survive the salt water. Instead, these fish live in fresh water. Lakes, rivers, and ponds are all fresh water. Many kinds of plants and animals live in or near fresh water. Frogs and birds live near lakes and ponds. So do turtles and many kinds of insects. These habitats are also very diverse. This is a photograph and it says, this is a frog. Frogs spend time in the water and on land. They are found near freshwater lakes, ponds, and rivers. The Arctic is a very different habitat from oceans or lakes. The Arctic is very far north on Earth. It gets very cold. There is snow on the ground all year. Not many plants and animals live in the Arctic because it is so cold. It isn't diverse. Some animals that do live there have thick white coats in the winter so they can stay warm and blend in with the snow. Here's the animals they're referring to. You guessed it, polar bears. Polar bears live in the Arctic. Okay, we're on page 15, just a few more pages left for today. Oh, and we have some photographs. This says forest habitat photos. And on the left-hand side, it says plants in forest habitats. So we have our ferns, we have shrubs, and we have wild flowers that you can find in forest habitats. Here's more photos. This says lake habitat photos. So we have a lake habitat on the water, a lake habitat under the water, and then on the left, in sideways writing, it says plants in lake habitats. We have lilies, grasses, and bulrushes. Now we have ocean habitat photos. Right up here is our heading. Our subheading, ocean habitat, also serves as a caption to the photograph. In sideways, it says plants in ocean habitats. We can find seagrass, red algae, and kelp as plants in ocean habitats. And then we have section 1 review, reading comprehension questions. You can think about these at home. What is the main idea of section 1? What details support this main idea? Question 2. How is a living thing different from a non-living thing? Page 6 will help you, it says in small writing. Why does a rainforest habitat have more biodiversity than an Arctic habitat? And why is the ocean such a diverse habitat? Thanks for reading with me. I'll be back tomorrow to read the rest of this unit with you. Thanks. Bye, second graders.